In this video I want to talk to you about the idea of balanced and unbalanced forces. So balanced versus unbalanced forces. So we look at first law, right? Newton's first law of motion tells us that if the forces are balanced, then we have no acceleration. Remember, it says all objects will stay at rest or in motion, right? At rest or constant velocity, unless you have a net force acting on it. So in this case, you have no acceleration. In this case, you have acceleration. If you have a net force, this by definition is unbalanced. And then this is balanced. Now, another way we talk about the idea of balanced is the word equilibrium. So we can have balance, we can call that also equilibrium. And when we talk about equilibrium, we have two different kinds. We have at rest, right, which means static, or static, which means at rest. We have static equilibrium when the object's at rest, just sitting there. And when it's constant velocity equilibrium, we'll call that dynamic. So we can have a static and a dynamic equilibrium here. So in some of the examples you might look at with Newton's first law of motion, you might have something drawn out for you. Here's an object and I've got a force of 10 newtons pushing this way and say another 10 newtons pushing that way. We'd say that's balanced. Right? And you might have another situation where we have that same 10 newtons pushing this way, but now maybe we only have 5 newtons pushing that way. So this one would be unbalanced. Right? We have 10 newtons plus 5 newtons, and so our resultant, think about our vectors that we've done, our resultant then is going to be 5 newtons in that way of net force or unbalanced force in that situation. So you can look at different situations like that. We could look at the vertical as well, right? We could take something and we have some 5 newtons pulling down on it maybe, and maybe 5 newtons pulling up on it. Say that's balanced vertically. We could have 7 newtons that direction, and say maybe only 4 newtons that way. And so here, vertically we're balanced. Right, so here and here we're balanced, but the horizontal in here is unbalanced. So the whole thing is going to accelerate in that direction. Next, you should watch part 2 of balanced versus unbalanced.